We are live. Welcome to the RedBlue Pod number 4. We got the same guest as usual. You can now present yourself.
Cole, once again, as per usual.
So perfect. So today we got two topic. We will have Stargirl first season and The Boys first season as well. I didn't watch season 2 yet, but I will watch in the following week. So next week we will cover The Boys second season.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's start off with Stargirl. Uh, how did you feel about it? Did you enjoy? Did you not enjoy? What's your feeling?
Uh,
What's your take?
well, you see, with the first episode, so I was watching it, and honestly, I was getting a little scared that it would just be another bad, like, CW-ish type show. Like, there were a lot of cheesy lines, 50-50 with the CGI. And similar drama stuff with the characters in their normal life and just someone dying with another person, you know, either related or with similar powers or whatnot, taking over and being like the lead. And I did find like it I found it unrealistic, like how a lot of characters were acting in it. Like, I know they were going for that like school drama like thing, but there's no way in real life how somebody who acted the way she did socially and looked the way she did would just be like considered a nerd at fucking school like that. That's pretty unrealistic, and the bullies were pretty one-dimensional and cartoonish. But later on when the episode went on more though, I did enjoy some things about it. Like, I was thankful that they did not just have her know how to use the powers magically like a pro for the first time, as they've done in other garbage shows similar to this. And and the things that she did learn quickly, it actually made sense because they actually explained it previously in the same episode, like,
She was a
with like
gymnast.
yeah, they actually explained it, and also like the power level for enemies, unlike like in the second episode and such. Now, I don't think the way they did it in Hawkeye with Kate Bishop was bad either, since her background and since the enemies in the comics in the first episode are known to be terribly, just laughable as well. But however, Stargirl definitely did it 1,000 times better in that aspect than Hawkeye in the first episode with Kate Bishop. So yeah,
I hope so.
uh, it was kind of cliche how the one bully is just the son of that villain. That's a cliche we've seen in a lot of these shows, uh and other cliches later on. Like, we know, it's a cliche how just meets all those nerdy people, then they all join in like in the group. Like, that's such a cliche we've seen in like many shows. But I mean, so yeah, after the first episode though, I was like, okay, it wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad, but there were a lot of like moments. I'm kind of scared this is just gonna be another like CW style show. After the first episode though, I was actually enjoying it quite a lot. I started getting very invested into it and the characters for the most part, outside of the all bad moment. Really
Which
picked
all
up
bad
from there.
moment.
Like, I would say like in like the finale with that fight or whatnot. Honestly, the way just some of those characters died was just so stupid. But
Okay.
stuff like that, and some other elements. But I did have one question though. Is there any tie-in with like the Joey character who died like from the bus collision and like the one magician guy at like the very start, in the pilot? Is there?
The magician is basically the killer in the pilot. It's basically the wizard. You know the kind of mayor that dies in episode 3. He was the wizard, so he was basically part of the Injustice Society. But then he had Joey, so he basically became like more of a good guy. That's why he wanted to leave.
Okay.
So
See,
he
I missed that part because I was watching in like the background during that episode. I just saw that he was like an aspiring magician, so I was like, okay, that has to be like he has to be related to that other guy from the pilot, right?
Yeah, basically the wizard had a child, basically Joey,
Mm-hmm.
and the wizard wanted to kind of leave, but Jordan Icicle was like, "No, you don't leave." And then they had that conflict because Jordan wanted to tell the wizard you cannot leave, so he basically killed Joey. Now
Yeah.
it may sound and look like an accident, but he wanted to kill people. It's crystal clear, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what happened. That's why they had a conflict.
Oh
So
yeah,
speaking about
definitely.
that, how did you feel the first time you have seen that?
Uh, first time. About what exactly?
That scene
When I
where
saw him.
Joey dies on the
Oh
bridge.
yeah. And that was I honestly didn't expect it because I thought like out of I mean he was just introduced, so I guess out of like any of the characters, it'd make the most sense that he died. But it's just I thought he would be more important to the plot, honestly, just because of like how his father was or whatnot. Thought it'd be a bit more important, but. Yeah, I mean, and when yeah, the guy killed him for like after finding out and trying to like Jesus Christ, that was pretty good as well.
I think what's amazing about that is the fact that that happened because of Courtney' biggest flaw, which is being impulsive and rushing into trouble without thinking, basically. So
Hmm.
this is a debt on her, even if she didn't pull the trigger. She played a part in it, and I think that's one of the reasons why that bit has such meaning, and that's why I like so much that episode, and I think it's one of the best episode in comic book TV show. But here again, that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, you did speak about that, like while talking about Invincible, that yeah, Stargirl touches on like the consequences very well as well, and I can see why now.
Yeah, and without saying any spoiler, I will tell you there's a lot of things in season two that are affected directly by things in season one. So it's not just like you just watch season one and then you watch another show with season two. There are some connectivity. There are some like things that link with each other, and I think that's something they do well. So I cannot wait to have your take on season two once we are there. But I also wanted to let you know, man, season one was HBO. It wasn't CW yet.
I know. I'm just saying, like CW-ish. It did have like a bit of that like feeling still, honestly, and like it similar format. So I'm just describing that as that. Not that it's, that's why I say ish, not like actually CW.
Yeah. And what do you think about the villain? Who was your favorite?
Favorite villain. Like, again, I liked the magician guy at the start, but then he wasn't a villain. So, I mean, I do just like Brainwave. Honestly, it would probably be my favorite. I mean, I know it's kind of like a cop out answer, but hey.
That's fine. It's a
Yeah.
great villain, Brainwave. I mean,
Yeah.
he is well written, and we had a full episode dedicated on him. And
Yeah, I mean, it's just like he's kind of like the main one, so it's like, of course.
it's really hard to dislike him, and it's a well written one. I mean, he killed his own wife and his own son for the sake of that journey and that mission. How did you felt when Henry died? Did you expected it?
Jesus, I was, I knew he was gonna die somehow. I just didn't expect it to be like that. But I mean, that sucks. They've turned like a one-dimensional character into it and was doing something with it. But I mean, I knew they couldn't like take it too, take too many directions with it though. So it'd be better off to just end it like that. But I didn't expect that. Jesus Christ, it kind of like it was like some fucking house that Jack built type shit where he killed his family. Jesus. I don't know if you saw that film, but Jesus.
I didn't, but I see the meaning, what you're trying to say.
Uh,
And I think it's well written. I mean, they nobody is really safe. and all the kills make
Hmm.
sense to the story instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, we are out of ideas for that character, so let's kill him off." No, they had ideas with what they are doing, and I think that's another strength here because sometimes in shows they're like, "What do I do with that character? I just don't know what to do with him, so I'll just kill
What do
him
you
off."
mean, man? The Walking Dead knew exactly what it was doing. It was like, okay, how can we ruin this TV show more than we already have? Ah, yeah, let's just kill everyone. Like literally, you look at listen to the creators of that show talk. They literally say they just kill characters in it at random for shock value when their arcs are still incomplete, just for that shock in The Walking Dead.
So, what was
That's
your
horrible.
favorite episode in this first season?
Ah, I mean, honestly, it wasn't the one that like the most like stuff happened or anything, but again, I mean, there are a lot of good ones. Like there was none that like stood out for me, like specifically though. So because of that, I would just have to go with episode two because it was the one that made me really invested into it and like what it did. Episode two and episode three. So not that they like did anything too special though or stood out, but just because of that, since all of them are kind of just like on the same level for me, it's really good.
Yeah. And how did you felt about the Pat Courtney relationship being built? Did you felt it? Did you like the payoff at the end?
Uh I'll be honest, I think they could have done a little bit better with it, but I mean, I didn't mind it.
And what do you think about the Pat character in itself? Because one of my friend, I've seen the show, and it was like, he's hands down the best part of it. So I'm wondering, what's your take? Did you enjoy Pat?
I enjoyed Pat. I wouldn't say it was like hands down the best part of it or anything, but I do I did like the lead a lot in it, honestly. It's like one of the better DC leads, female leads, but I mean, yeah, I would say, yeah, I definitely liked him a lot, though. Uh, Again, the actors did a very good job. I just, I feel like the story, there were some missed opportunities they could have done, sort of like how there were definitely some missed opportunities in the new Spider-Man trilogy, like
Yeah.
characters, sort of similar to that. But yeah, I liked it. I liked him.
That's kind of cool. So, when you speak about missed opportunity, what would you change or like add, or what would be like it opportunity, if you know what I mean?
It just feels like there were some scenes where it's like they were kind of like in like chemistry in the show and like doing certain things with the character that were believable and like fun and made you interested in them and like teaming up and everything, and then there were just other scenes where it's like they just put like a stop sign and just like, okay, so this is the part now where we try to build more chemistry. It's like just do that naturally like in the other scenes. So it's just like I would just remove those and just do that throughout the whole show. I think that would just be better.
That's a good take. So, what would be your grade out of 10 for this first season?
I'd give it. I'd give it like a 6.5 or 7, and to me, like a 6 out of 10 is very good. Like a 6 out of 10 to most people would be like a 7 or 8 out of 10. So
Yeah,
yeah, around like a 6.5 or 7 out of 10. It's very good, close to great. Yeah, you said
that's
you thought season 2 was better actually, you said, in your
yeah,
opinion.
yeah. I still stick to it now. Better like in terms of story, I think it's different because it's leaning more into the horror genre instead of the superhero genre. Because first season is really superhero ish, and season two they like do something else, and I really like the tone of season two. It's much darker, and I like it a lot. And I feel like season two is a perfect follow up to the strong foundation season one left. Now, one of my biggest flaw with season two, without any spoiler, is one of the many villain because there are like a few villain here and there. One of the villain is really really weak. It's He's still better than Miss Marvel villain because let's be honest, it's really hard to have worse. But the villain itself, his powers are amazing, but the character himself is kind of bland. He's like, I think, without going into any spoiler, season 2 is really about evil, good, and gray. That's like some kind of really strong theme throughout the season, and this is what I enjoyed a lot because there's a character that is really gray, and they are obviously a good character and evil characters as well. So I think that kind of line they drawn in season 2 was really good, and one of the subplot is amazing. I don't go too deep into that subplot because this would be a clear spoiler, but you will see it very fast. So I think
Hmm.
the gap is not that big because season 1 had a lot of strength, but I think season 2 did everything season 1 did, but they improved and I think they did better. But here again, that's just me. And as I was doing my review, because usually when I do my full review video, like at the end of the video, I always go take a look at the audience comment on the season I'm covering to see if I'm crazy. And a lot of people enjoyed it more, but a lot of people said, "Oh, it lost the charm of first season." But I don't see how. Maybe they were invested in the Pat
Mm,
Courtney stuff, because let's be honest, Pat
I
Courtney
mean,
stuff is
that is probably like one reason. I will say though, like MSK and Chaz are on the opinion that season one is way better than season two did ruin like some of the charm and energy of it. Well, yeah, you and K Dots are in the group where you thought season two was better, so we'll
yeah.
see which one side I'm on.
See, it's. I think characterize it's great, and I think I will be honest here. With season 2, I've seen the first episode when I've seen it, and I was kind of disappointed because it was the weakest episode so far, but then it picked up right after that. I mean, season 1 of. Episode 1 of season 2 was a letdown for me, but the rest was so good, I just forgot about that episode. And even if it's darker, there are some episodes they left there to make it more lightweight and easier to watch. And yet they are not filler because they do matter. And I think they lean also more into the old GSA, so we get to learn more about the old GSA, and this is kind of cool. I think overall
Yeah.
season 2 is really a big improvement for me at least. And I can understand why some people are more on board with season 1, because with season 1 we had so many good villains: Brainwave, Icicle. We also had like
I will say though, the way she found out about Icicle, I mean, let's just say I know people in real life who it can can do that at the table of like burning plates. So I mean, it
yeah.
isn't like it wasn't proof, but whatever. Let's not talk about it anyway. Continue.
Yeah, and I think season 2, my favorite villain per se is in season 2. I think Brainwave has been beaten in season 2 by one of the villain, uh, and that's just me. I mean, there's a lot of good things in it, and I think season 2 is also much more character driven than season 1. Season 1 I think was very plot driven, but season 2 they really take more times with each character. And remember Solomon Grundy?
Sorry, what's that?
Remember Solomon Grundy, the monster basically?
Oh yeah, yeah.
We get more of them and more of him, and I will say that he is much more interesting in season 2.
And did they improve the CGI on him?
Um, it's hard to say. To be honest, I'm not someone that is that picky with CGI. I was never really bothered by him. So it's hard to say. I'm not the good judge of character when it comes to CGI. As long as I don't see the cable, I'm fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
like fucking Supergirl.
yeah. Yeah, that's another level. Or
Oh
some
yeah,
of the
that film.
CGI in some episode of Arrow sometime. That was
Oh Jesus, fuck! I'll never understand why people give Arrow so much credit. It's
Arrow is great.
uh
Before Stargirl and Superman and Lois, that was my favorite superhero TV show, like side by side with Daredevil.
I just
But
don't get it. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. Maybe I'll have to rewatch it, but there's so many seasons now.
season 3 and 4 are godly awful. I agree with that. But season 1 to 5 are masterpieces. Season 6, 7, 8 are kind of cool, but they are a step down from season 5. So I think overall, you need to like Oliver Queen. I mean, you need to like the vigilante type. I think that's why I
Hmm.
liked it so much. I always preferred vigilante over like superhero with all these superpowers because vigilante are just more interesting for me. But here again, that's just me. So yeah, Stargirl second season for me was a good, a really strong season. And before watching The Boys, Stargirl was my favorite comic book TV show, and I stick to that because Superman and Lois second season was a letdown for me. Even if it was really good and really strong, it was still a letdown for me. And Stargirl had no letdown so far for me. So now, is there anything else you would like to add about Stargirl before we move on with the boys?
Uh, no, not really. That's about it. But I just hope it is better than season one. I hope it improved on some things. And even the tone changes. That's fine as long as it's good. Like, because the tone change has changed with other shows, just like the one we're about to talk about. I do think the tone was vastly different, kind of from season one in comparison to two and three. But yeah.
Oh, I'm worried now. I haven't seen season 2 or 3 yet, but now I
Oh no!
start
Oh
to get
no! No!
worried.
Don't worry, they're great. I mean, season two I think is the weakest one, but I mean,
Okay.
they're great. Season three is just fantastic.
And here again, I think tone-wise, some show fail. Like The Flash, when it tried really hard to be dark with the third season, it failed, like poorly because the writer didn't know how to make a darker show without making it heavy to watch and boring. This is what they did with The Flash. And I'm very happy about Stargirl because they had that darker tone, but that darker tone didn't took away anything, and we still had these season 1 moment where we had a laugh, where we were like, that's a comic book things to see. I feel like Stargirl was really a comic book you read, but in live action. That's the best way to put it, I think, because it's very comic booky, and well, that's my feeling. It feels like, what if Smallville had more money? If you know what I mean.
I'm trying to. Smallville had more money. I mean, yeah, that would have been an improvement, definitely. But
But yeah, let's go over to the boys. Now, usually I like to ask my guests first, but here again, I will start off with what
I
I
mean,
thought.
honestly, I do not have too much to say about the boys other than that it was excellent in my opinion, and yeah, I loved it a lot. I don't have much, honestly, at all to say in detail, so honestly, just ran away. Go ahead.
Do you remember well season 1?
uh, yes, well, to an extent, but out of all the seasons, it's probably the one that I like least remember the most, just because there was a bit of like a tone shift. Not much, but enough from like season two and three, in my opinion, where there were a lot of things like in season one that I kind of need to think hard about. But I mean, to an extent, yeah, but
Okay, so I think The Boys first season at least. I don't know about the other two, but for me it's a masterpiece. I liked
Wow.
it so much. I was kind of shocked. I liked it more than Stargirl because in my own opinion, that's really hard to top. But The Boys did it. It did it better, and uh, I really tried hard to find issues. I was as critical as I could be with any other TV shows. When I reviewed Stargirl, I was really critical, and I ended up giving the show a first season 9.5 and the other season 9.7. But here with the boys, it's 9.8 because we had 8 episodes, and I really had hard time finding issues, and sometimes it's just issues here and there. A lot of episodes were 10 out of 10 for me. Some were 9.7 out of 10. So
Yeah, I mean, if there was, but where would be any issues? It would just be like there's at the time with shows like that in American Gods when and Secession when they weren't really like being watched on HBO and Amazon Prime from people, and when even and despite them advertising them in theaters, which I hated at the time because yeah, I was watching them and I was like, why aren't these shows blowing up more? But yeah, but there was this like style they did at like Amazon and stuff that you could like notice with those shows that at moments like in the at points when like the line delivery and stuff it could have been a bit better. So if there would be anything that could be called just like a bit of a weakness, it would be that for me. But I mean, besides that, yeah, there's not really any flaws with this.
yeah, I had really hard time finding issues. Now I got a few. As I said, it's 9.8 out of 10, and it's a lot for me. 9.8. I don't remember anything. I gave 10 out of 10. I don't remember anything giving receiving such treatment because that would mean everything is perfect about it, and either you don't want to see it or you're too blind to see it. And I try to not be too blind. Um,
Yeah.
so I think the one first issue that crossed my mind would be um, sometime the satire and the comedy, the parody stuff when they speak is really, really on the nose. And sometimes I'm like, oh my, did they really went that way? Did they really said that? And yeah, it's just sometimes like I don't remember exactly what really bothered me, but if I noted it that means like it was really on the nose. I think either it was about girl power or it was something else. I forgot what was really on the nose that really bothered me. I think it was like episode 2 or episode 3, because I remember having like 4 episode among the 8 that were like that had a lower score, which is like 9.7, and the last one 9.5 because the issue bothered me much more. But yeah, I think sometimes the on the nose comedy, I was like, oh my, like it felt lazy. But here again, that's not something that applies to everything. It's just one specific line that really bothered me so much. Now, there was another issue I had. I think it was episode like 4 or 5. Butcher is basically entering a crime scene saying to the police, I am a crime unit or something, but he doesn't have any badge. Or if he has any, we haven't seen it. So the police just let him in? I was so bothered by that.
uh,
I
yeah,
was
I
like,
remember that.
really? That bothers me so much. But here again, since that was the only issue I had, I still gave the episode 9.7. But it still bothered me so much. I was like, so the police is giving detail to that nobody that just entered the crime scene and that pretends to be crime unit. So I'm like, okay, Okay, well, let's just forget it's a TV show. I don't know. Remember, it's a TV show. We should say. So
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, there's definitely something they could have just slightly done. Like they didn't have to do much, but Jesus Christ.
the other issue I had was in the last episode, I think, the SWAT versus Yui and his gang when they were escaping the prison. And my issue was they didn't know how to aim. Like Yui, I understand, but the military people, they didn't know how to freaking aim. But here again, that's an issue. That's a trope. Like anything with guns implies that people won't know how to aim. Otherwise, the plot will just end.
Yeah, hey, maybe they're like related to the stormtroopers. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. They're related to the Stormtrooper. But here again, this is the issue that took away half a point. So I basically gave that episode 9.5. Um, now, I think that was the last issue I had, was, I think it was like episode 2, when they killed off Translucid. So basically, Butcher has the remote, and then something comes up, and he just leaves the remote behind. Okay, so I understand why they did this. They wanted Yui to kill Translucid, but that was really weird. It felt off for me because you're like, why messing around? Just kill him off. That was your intent. You wanted to kill Translucid. That's what you wanted to do. But he left the remote behind, and that's Huey that took it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
That
I
happened
don't think
because
it's
the
like
plot wanted Huey to kill him off and not Butcher.
I mean, I don't think it's too out there. Like when we saw like what he did throughout, I don't think it's like too unrealistic for him to like also do that because I think with what we saw from him, he's kind of a character that does that stuff. So I think that one out of all the weaknesses, like nitpicks you could point out, like that one's more reasonable. But I do get your point there. They definitely did because they wanted that.
Yeah. So here again, this only took like 0.3, so that was a 9.7. Now I kind of remember what bothered me with like the on the nose stuff. They did a satire of the religion, the Catholic religion, and to be honest, I don't care about any religion. I'm not a religion person, but I feel like people are not shy to trash Catholic and Christianity and stuff like that. But when it comes to any other religion like Islam and all the others I don't know, they don't trash them, they don't mock them, they don't satire them. Do you know what I mean? But when it comes to Christian, like they do whatever they want. Like it's funny to laugh at it and how stupid some of the believer can be. But when it comes to Islam or the other ones, let's try to not make them sad or mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's that reminds me of fucking that South Park episode. The censor, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's when you want to satire something or trash something, trash like everything in the same realm. Like laugh at Christianity, fine. Go laugh at Muslim the same way you did with Christianity. Please do that.
It's because of how violent. Like again, not trying to. I mean, actually, I am. Fuck it. Like, I'm sorry. It's like just there are certain religions, like that are just people get so violent and extreme over like satire with it to the extent where yeah, even South Park with that one episode where they had to censor it before it released, and they never in history did that ever.
Yeah.
Like with anything they've done, like it's just people need to stop being pussies in Hollywood. Just
Yeah.
do it. Fuck off. It's fucking freedom of speech. It's a joke. Just grow up.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's like the
it's
fucking. But like again, I'm not religious at all, and there's a lot of like things I hate about like modern religion that they've been doing like all groups basically. But I mean, what I will say though is by far the people that take it the best are the Mormons. They easily they're cool with everything. So I
yeah,
mean, credit there. But Jesus Christ, like Muslims and stuff are just way too extreme with it.
yeah, I agree with that. Now that my very small issues are out of the way, let's speak about everything that went well. Now, I did a full reviews, but I forgot to address something I kind of liked a lot in my review, so I will address it right now. A train. So he bothered me at some extent. I was like, that character is just a piece of you know what, but he's still an interesting character, and most of the characters are well written enough. So even if they are kind of shit, um, you kind of want to root for them because they're well written. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So even if they are like awful people, you're like, oh, they're so well written. I mean, I cannot hate on that guy. He is so well written, you know. So a train. I think a train reflect a very dark and interesting part of society. Performance. You need to stay the best, and you will do whatever it takes to stay the best. And that was the most interesting part about a train. And I was like, this is deep. It's genius the way they tackled it. And they are right because we put so much pressure on people to be the best at school, at work. Like the best worker, they will get a raise, they will get other position, or the best people at school will have I don't know, like more money to go at school, or they will have a scholarship or stuff like that, or they will be accepted in better school, if you know what I mean. So there's a lot of like performance, and you see it's some kind of stress. He's stressed out by it. He doesn't want to be number two. He wants to remain number one. So he used drug to become better, and this is also some kind of addiction issue because he's addicted to be on top. So he will do whatever it takes. And I think this was great. And I was so happy when they broke his leg. You have no idea. I was like, well
Yeah,
deserved.
the violence in every scene is just
Yeah.
fucking fantastic. It feels very brutal. Like honestly, this and
You
just
see the bone, man.
Invincibles.
You see the
Yeah,
freaking bone. And I was like, wow, this is one of my favorite scenes in comic book TV. And I was so happy they did that. And then what they did after that with the train, we get Shockwave. We haven't met Shockwave, but we see Shockwave out there because Shockwave replaced a train. And you see a train struggle, and he's like, I will get back on my feet. And he came back too early from like his break. He was recovered, but he needed like a 6 week break. He didn't listen to anybody, and it ended up with him dying from an earth attack. And I was like, wow. Well deserved, well written.
hmm
I mean, that guy was a jerk. He killed like his girlfriend, and he blamed Yui for it. But like, I mean, it's not Yui that like freaking told him to kill his girlfriend. You know. So a train, man. I I was happy with what they gave to him, and I think since a train is like a normal guy with just super speed, it was interesting. So it wasn't like the Flash ripoff. It was a more grounded version of the Flash, and that was kind of cool. I like it.
I mean, yeah, he was a grounded version of the Flash.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, I'm trying to think. Weren't there like other? Which other characters would you say are like grounded versions of others, in your opinion, if you had to like think?
Homelander. I think if someone had, let's say, Superman power, I think that would like make them like believe there are gods among men, and they will act like ones, and they will do whatever they want. So I think,
Oh, yes. Listen, just wait for
yeah,
like what he does in season 2 and season 3.
yeah,
Uh, there's a reason why people compare him to Omni Man.
yeah.
Just wait.
But I've got an issue, but it's a very small one, and maybe they will correct it in another season. That's why it's not really on my issue right now. It will become on my issue in future season, if I am right. But I don't want to give him any weakness. In season one, he has no weakness so far, so I'm like, that bothers me. Because you see, Superman, as much as he's cool and everything, he has a weakness. He can still
I
like
mean,
die from kryptonite, and even
okay,
there,
well, I mean, I think in the future they've. I'm not going to spoil, but either way, whether it's in an upcoming season like that's already released or not, or in the future one, I do think they'll eventually give him a weakness.
okay,
I won't say if it's in season 2, season 3, or a future one, but
okay,
they should eventually. Either way, I'll tell you that much. And
that's good to
also
know.
the main reason why is because this is like a big fish in a small ponds type thing, unlike other superhero shows. Like he is in a very small pond with like his powers, so it makes sense for him to honestly have like no weaknesses as of right now.
Yeah, and that's funny because they tried to play this out that the Madeline, I think that was her name, like the mother figure of the seven. She was like his weakness at some extent, but he ended up killing her. So
Hmm.
I think I like the idea, but since he ended up killing her, that was some kind of mislead and some kind of lie. But it's not an issue because something they do that to subvert your expectation, and this can be cool. That was actually shocking, and yeah, I think Homelander is another really grounded version of another superhero, and I think every seven is a grounded one, except maybe Starlight. Starlight is more of a cliche, but Starlight is still amazing. Even if I say that, I can enjoy cliche as long as it's well done within the story and as long as it makes sense with the character. So I think outside of Starlight, they are very grounded. I think Starlight is more like the ideal. She's more like what the others should be. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think that's why I enjoyed her so much. Like she's a good actress, I think, and she delivered where she needed to deliver. And I think the freaking jerk that is a ripoff of Aquaman. Oh my. Okay, this one is a freaking jerk. I want him to die in season 2 or 3. I don't care when. I want him to die. Um, as I said, he's not like an issue per se because, as I said earlier, even if they are jerks, you kind of root for them. So I cannot understand like what he's going through after getting basically fired from the seven. I understood what they were going for with him, but I'm like, how can you like fix that character, or how can you like make him more likable, if I can call it that way? Like, I think the only way would be like a full redemption arc, or you kill him off. That's like the other two ways like you can really fix him, because let's be honest, he's just the cliche that he basically assaulted people, and he thinks it's normal. So at some extent, he needs some kind of punishment, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, probably at
I'm
this
all
point.
in for second chances, but you need to earn it. You need to change your behavior to earn the second chance. So I cannot wait to see what they do with him. I hope they do something with him, because if nothing happens to him and he's just there to fill screen time, I just won't like it anymore. Now, Noir Black is kind of cool. Noir Black, he says nothing. He's just there. He's like Batman, but he's not Batman.
Yeah, I sort of like fucking call what's that one? What's the one MCU character that like says nothing again? Like,
I
uh,
don't know by art everyone in the MCU. There's too many.
I completely forgot, but whatever. But it really reminds me of him.
Yeah, he was kind of cool. Even if he had nothing to say, he's kind of cool. And I hope he doesn't speak. Like, don't make him speak because you want the actor to have dialogue. Don't do that, please. Um, Now, what else? What else? The rip-off of Wonder Woman. She is very interesting. At first, when she met Starlight in the bathroom a few moments after Starlight met Aquaman rip-off, I was kind of bothered by the attitude of that character. And then later on, when the Wonder Woman rip-off pick up back Starlight and wants to help her out, it was cool. The elevator scene when she admits she was like Starlight when she first started was so good. I was like, okay, that's interesting, and I started rooting for that character. So this is to say, like, all you need is one scene, and you can warm up to a character so much more if the scene is well written. And I was on board with that. I liked it so much. The elevator scene. Do you know what scene I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I know what scene you're talking about.
That was great. Now another thing I liked a lot: the airplane. You know, the one that Homelander and Maeve, I think that's her name, like Wonder Woman, like
Hmm.
they needed to save the plane, but they ended up crashing the plane. I was like, okay, Homelander is clearly a villain after that. Like, I had I had suspicion. I was like, he was a villain before that, but like, now he's clearly like beyond villain right now. He just killed the full plane.
Yeah, it's like a fucking chef. Like, okay, I'm gonna make this recipe. Oh shit, I accidentally put poison in it. Fuck. Told it, it can happen to anyone. Jesus.
And I
I
kind of
mean,
liked what they did after that with Maeve.
yeah.
Maeve see the families of the victims of the plane crash, and you can tell Maeve really wanted to help, and she was like, Homelander didn't want, and like that's some kind of conflict for her. And I think that was well done. I enjoyed that scene a lot. So this is well written. I mean, there's nothing else to say. It's just well done.
I mean, what are your expectations for season 2 going into it?
I will be honest, I'm very hyped and excited because I enjoyed a lot season 1, but I am worried because I've heard a lot of mixed opinion on season 2 and 3. Um, I
Well,
tend
in my opinion, season 3 is like just a masterpiece. I think a lot of people agree, but season 2, yeah, it's more mixed.
I tend to not listen to people until I see it, but I still worry about it. I when it comes to like show I enjoy, like I'm always worried the next time around I see this show I will be disappointed, and I will go back a bit to Stargirl. I've seen trailer for season 3 and I think it will be good, but I'm still worried. I'm like, wow, okay, I really hope they will like be as good as season 1 and 2, and if not, be better, please. Don't be worse. But here again, maybe it's just a trailer, you know? So I think The Boys season 2, I want I want like entertainment. I want action. I want funny stuff. My expectations are really low. Like, just have good writing, please. Just have good characters I can root for, even if they are just like season one. But make new characters. Like, let me know like Shockwave or something, or let me meet other groups of vigilante if we got other groups of vigilante. I really don't know what they can do as long as it's the same. Like, if they change stuff, I hope it's justified, and I hope what they change won't affect the writing. That's all I'm asking for. Because sometimes you take some risks, but you change too much the product, and it feels like something really different. Now I will go back to Arrow. Arrow third and fourth season. Oh my, what they were doing? They tried to do something new, and they ended up like trashing that amazing product that was season 1 and 2. I'm worried for the boys' second season, but here again, I like so much season 1. I don't expect season 2 to be better, but I expect it to be similar, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say anything, but
Yeah.
again, when I say there's like a bit of a tone shift, though, I mean, I don't. It really isn't that much, but it's just again, there's like a certain format, kind of just like American Gods that like Amazon and HBO shows like in the past before they blew up more and got more of the attention they deserve. They kind of followed in areas with like line delivery and writing. That's all. It just changes a bit there.
Yeah.
I think they definitely go more edgy
If
as
it
well
goes
with the
more
boys.
edgy, I think if it's well done, I will like it. Now I will give a good example of a show that had strong foundation, but then it fell off fast. Legends of Tomorrow. I Season 1 was kind of weak. It was mediocre at best, but then we had season 2, which is a masterpiece for me, and then we had season 3, which is kind of fine. It's still good, but then we had like season 4. It turned a superhero TV show into a sitcom. It's as bad as that, and we had in the first 3 seasons a lot of funny stuff, and the show was light-hearted, even when we had darker storyline or darker episode, the show was light-hearted, so it was always fun and funny and stuff. But in season 4, they decided, okay, it's no more a superhero TV show, it's a parody. And that bothered me so much because they doubled down on the parody aspect so much. Each season was just becoming worse and worse. Now, season 7 canceled the show, and it came back to be somewhat decent, but even there, the damage was so deep. It wasn't good. So I don't want the boys to turn into a sitcom or a bad parody or a bad comedy. I had a lot of good laugh in the first season, and I also had a lot of emotion. And now you will ask when. Frenchie, dude. Frenchie. I could relate to that guy. Among the vigilante, he was my favorite. Frenchie is great. I think he is part of why I enjoyed so much The Boys. Frenchie, I, his scenes with the girl, the mutant girl, the girl with powers, these were great. So yeah, I want The Boys to be just entertaining, and
Hmm.
if they want to double up in comedy, it's fine as long as it remains fun and entertaining.
Oh
I'm fine
yeah,
with,
the people are just having a field day with like the fucking memes they're posting of it from season 3.
yeah, but
Like, oh, there was this one scene with like a fucking like beside a garage thing.
yeah,
Oh, that scene is fucking just fantastic.
I will go back to Legends of Tomorrow because when I spoke about sitcom and bad comedy, like sometimes the humor and the fun stuff was so lazy it wasn't even funny. and that's why like later season of Legends of Tomorrow are godly awful, because sometimes they tried so hard to be funny but they are not funny. It's like someone need to be to be like drunk or high on something to find that funny. Like I I don't want that with the boys. I expect change, but not too much change. Either you go darker, but well done, or you go more in the funny as long as it remains interesting.
Yeah, I would have to agree, but
So
yeah, I'm
I,
not
I
gonna spoil anything. But yeah, and again, I haven't finished season 3 yet,
yeah,
but there's still 2 episodes I need to watch. But so far it's a masterpiece for me.
yeah. So next week we will cover season 2 for sure, because I think I will have enough time.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll,
Um,
I'll definitely at least watch one of. I'll try to finish at least Superman and Lois or season 2 of Stargirl, and then
yeah,
we can do that in the boys. Yeah, but
yep,
also there's one thing I wanted to ask you.
yep.
Did you have any interest tomorrow in seeing that new film coming out, Nope? Or is it not your thing?
What?
The film Nope. You heard of it, right?
Nope.
Yeah, it's the
I
Jordan Peele film.
I haven't heard of it.
Well, I mean, have you heard of Get Out?
No.
Ah, so you don't watch horror much, or
No, I'm not really into horror. Sometime like I'm fine. I used to watch some horror stuff with one of my ex, so like I'm fine with the genre, but it's not my favorite. Um,
why is that exactly? Just curious.
I don't know. I just I don't hate the genre. It's not like there's only one genre I really hate, and it's like romance and stuff.
Oh well,
I
that's because they're all like the same outside of the very rare one.
I can't stand romance and like these parody where they do Tinder stuff and Badu stuff. I just
Oh
can't
god,
stand that kind of crap.
fucking
But
Hallmark films, Jesus
yeah,
fuck.
I just cannot stand that. But I'm open to everything. It's just that horror. I'm just not. I'm just not driven by that. I think
Mm.
um
I mean,
I
could it
I've
be because you might have like seen the bad ones, or are you just not too much into horror?
yeah, I'm not. I think I'm not. I'm just not into it, and sometimes I will see some horror movie here and there if I get recommendation, or if
Mm.
I really want to see a movie I have not seen, I will go there. But I think my favorite genre is like sci-fi. I like sci-fi. I like
Ooh.
superhero, and I like police stuff. And these are like
Okay,
my
well, I will say now my favorite horror films personally, and my favorite horror films over the last decade, like a lot of A24 stuff. They're called considered horror films technically, but it's just a small part like genre side genre. Like honestly, the majority of the films are just thrillers slash dramas slash sci-fi and so on, and with like just a bit of like horror themes sprinkled in, like stuff like The Lighthouse and other stuff like that's like been the majority of them for over a while that I've watched. So I mean, would you say you would be more into that, like thrillers slash
yeah,
dramas
trailers.
with like some
Trailers are cool. I enjoy my time watching
uh
trailers.
well, I mean Jordan Peele ever since he kind of like split from Key and Peele to like become a filmmaker. I guess he did this one called Get Out. I mean, did you ever hear about it or?
I think I've heard about it, but not in
Uh,
detail.
oh, I mean, it got nominated for Best Picture, and he won an
Yeah,
Oscar
I
for screenplay
probably
for it.
actually heard of it. I just didn't connected the dots.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's technically like a horror, and it was produced by Blumhouse, but I mean, but it's pretty much like a thriller slash drama mainly though with horror themes. And yeah, that was well received. And then he did Us, which was also the same deal. And
Yeah.
now Nope, it comes out tomorrow. It's getting positive reviews. It looks very interesting, but yeah, it's mainly it has horror themes, but it's really not much of mainly a horror. It's mostly thriller slash drama slash comedy, and it's has sci-fi UFO elements in it, so it's something you might be interested in seeing.
Yeah, I think I will look into it. Just
And like look at like the first trailer for it, like the teaser, and see if it interests you.
yeah. Once we are done with the stream, just give me a list of movies. I will be curious to take a look. Like the last horror movie I've seen was X, and I will be honest, I wasn't really interested by the trailer. I was more interested to see the movie because of I've seen an interview. It was basically by the time the Batman was released, because I've seen the Batman in theaters, and we had that trailer of X, and we had like an interview with like the people making the movie. So I was like, I'm actually curious to see if it's some hot garbage or if it's fine, and it was hot garbage.
I mean, for me, it wasn't like I wouldn't say it was like garbage, but yeah, it definitely
Dude.
was not good. Like a lot
I
of people were like praising it early on, and I saw it, and I'm like, okay, there are things I appreciate and like about it. I wouldn't say it's like a terrible film that it's definitely watchable. It has like enough themes and stuff in comparison to like the general audience shitty horrors these days, but
yeah.
Jesus fuck this it really was not good, and it was just pointless to watch. It was just like you knew what was gonna happen, and there
Yeah,
was like no point to anything. You didn't care about any of the characters.
I
They
agree.
were
And you know what? The only thing I will praise and I like is the fact that they hinted at a Earth disease with the old man, and the guy died from
uh,
an Earth attack. I was like, okay.
oh, and the shotgun scene, blowing herself backward. Oh, and the crocodile teasing that. Yeah,
I think that was
yeah.
like the best moment, like that ending, man. I was like, okay.
Oh yeah.
But
Well, I mean, I'll definitely like give you a list on like Twitter and Discord here, like when
yeah,
I have the free time. Like
yeah.
again, these are gonna be films that are like one of their subgenres are horrors, and people consider them horrors, but they're really not. They're mainly thrillers slash dramas and
So
other
I'm
things. So
as I said, I'm really open to watch horror stuff, and as I said, like Stargirl is season 2 is a lot horror like, and I that's my favorite. So I think it all depends on the characters and the story they try to tell, and if this appeals to me, if I watch it and enjoy it, well, I enjoy it. I
I
think
mean, I will ask though, are you into subtitle films or no? Just so I know.
no, I won't.
Okay.
I The only stuff I used to watch with subtitle was anime, but even there, I kind of gave up on that. That takes me out of something fast.
Okay, good. So, because I was just needed to know before I like put down like a bunch of South Korean and Japanese films on there.
Yeah, stick to English, please, or French because I
Yeah,
speak
of
French.
course.
So if it's French or
Yeah.
English, I'm fine with it. But
Oh, okay, French. Okay, I mean, yeah, there's definitely been some like French films, yeah,
yeah, because I speak
mainly like
French
body
as a
horror.
main language, so that's why. And that's funny because speaking about French, I will go back to Frenchie. He's listening to French rap, bruh. I'm like, wow, I recognize that rapper. Oh, Yusufa. It's not my favorite rapper,
uh,
but I
I mean, have you
recognize the
seen
voice.
any French films in like a lot, recently or no?
Uh, to be honest, not really. I
I mean,
say
have you seen
French, but I'm
Titan?
not really into French or Canadian
Uh,
French like me. But if you got good title like in French, I'm willing to try. But my experience with movies and series made in my language are kind of bad.
Well, I mean,
But
depends where you
I'm
look,
still
but I
willing
mean,
to give a shot. If you have a list and there are French movies, I will give
I
it a
mean,
shot, you know?
honestly, French films can either be really bad or just amazing. Like, it really depends where you look. But,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
again, there was last year in 2021, there was a film called Titan. It was by that and, like, it was by a female director who also did one called Raw a few years prior. It was a good one as well. Yeah, it was kind of like a body horror type film. And yeah, I won't say it too much if you ever want to watch it, but yeah, it was probably my favorite film from last year. It was pretty polarizing with people just because it was really weird, and artsy, but yeah, I loved it. Yeah, it really depends, honestly, on just the film.
And that's funny because I'm not really into French stuff, but a Quebecer just like me made a TV shows in French, and that was basically 1902. And this lasted for 3 seasons, and it was so good that the English Canada they basically decided to make 192 in English. So they made like a kind of a spin-off with some of the characters but different stories. It's like Silver Timeline, let's say Silver Timeline, and it's about cops like on their day-to-day job, and it's a drama-driven series, and I praise it a lot because it goes it goes
Yeah, I see it on IMDb. Yeah, so they remade it an English one on Bravo. Yeah, I see
yeah,
that.
and the French version is much better than the English version, like
Oh, probably, yeah.
miles better. Because here's the thing, they wanted to do 3 season, and they constructed the show to be 3 season, and everything made sense, and everything led to like the next season, and everything was really connected. And I've seen the Bravo version fully. And I had issues here and there with the choices, with the writing, with the characters, and having 4 season, it was kind of cool because I was a really hardcore fan of like the IP per se. So I kind of liked to have like 4 season, but they changed so much, and even the characters, the actors. Mm, um, I I think the French version was a masterpiece. The English
I'll definitely
version,
try to check it out.
the English version was just fine, and I actually enjoyed part of the English version. To be honest, they flipped on some characters. They like switched their storyline at some extent, and I liked they did that with the English version. So if you watch the show like in French and English, you have two different takes. So I kind of respect that a lot, and I liked it a lot. So I was like, oh, they switched it. That's kind of amazing. But I my issue with the English version, I think my biggest issue with it is the fact that they tried too much to be like The Wire and like other American stuff with police drama and stuff. They tried too much to be like them, and I think that bothers me the most because in the French version, it's different. There's police stuff for sure, but there's the more human side. Even in the police parts, you see the human side.
hmm
And this is why I liked so much this series, and I've seen it so many times, and I think I will rewatch it soon if I find my DVDs, because I got it on DVDs, man. Oh, I'm telling you, this is a masterpiece. If you find it in French, wow, I recommend highly to watch it. It's good. it's
hmm
it's it's good.
I'll definitely try to look for it. I mean, I'm sure it'll be online somewhere.
Yeah,
I
I've
mean, I'm sure it looks pretty hard to find though. Like, there's
yeah.
not even really a poster for it on IMDb. It's just like a screenshot of the two actors. So I mean, I'll try to look for it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I like season 3. I really liked what they did, but I had a few issues here and there with the third season. But the third season is still a masterpiece. Despite a few issues here and there, wow. I'm telling you, like, there are some shows like you're like season 1 is the best, and then you watch season 2, it's kind of cool, and then you watch season 3, it's kind of cool, but nothing feels like season 1. But with 19.2, I feel like every season got better. With the English version, I think the best season was probably season 2, and that was the last season where they stick to some of the storyline we had in the French version. Because in season 3, they changed so much to have that fourth season. And this is where I feel like it became more American and more like other stuff I've already seen. So, yeah, I really I will try also on my side to find links for you. And if I find links for you, I will send you the links.
Definitely. Also, here's the trailer for that one film. You know, you can check it out after
Yeah.
after we're done streaming and see if it's something you would watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mainly like a sci-fi, so
So I like drama stuff. I like drama stuff if it's well written and if they know what they're doing. If they know what they're doing, man.
Okay, then I'm gonna recommend you Hereditary if you haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I'm really open to like everything. I'm centered around like superhero and sci-fi, but I like to try stuff. I like to discover stuff, and as long as, for example, you go into drama, if you got a good writer, man, you sold the thing for me. Because when I look at something, I look at the characters, man. The characters and the story. As long as it's appealing and there's stuff good in it, I will like it.
Yeah, I mean that's the same with me. Mainly, just the writing and characters is the most important part of any film or show.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So
Which is why most CW shows are so fucking trash.
oh my. Oh, that's funny. I laugh hard because, man, I miss the Flash good old days. Season 1 and 2.
Yeah, like Jesus Christ. I never got in the Flash. I never really watched it outside of like episodes from here and there. And MSK brought me to do reviews because nobody else wanted to do them at this point because everybody gave up on the show, and he just told me to pretend like I saw it. It was just like hilarious reviews because I did not even try to sell it. I was just like, oh yeah, this is my favorite show ever. Fucking love the actors.
I think
That's
Arrow
the
is
best
much
CGI.
better because Arrow had more than 2 good seasons.
I mean, I wasn't into Arrow much either personally, but I'll try to watch like at least season 1 and season 5 again.
Yeah, watch 1 to 5 because 2 is still very good. I think 2 is much better than 1. And I'm currently rewatching Arrow because I'm working on videos. It's called Retrospective on TV shows. And basically, I cover TV shows that ended or that got cancelled. And like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I was done with Smallville. So my retrospective it's a 3-part retrospective. I covered the show, like the season, and like all the audience receive it, the viewership, and stuff like that. It's like a big review, but with more than just the review. And the first part will drop like this week. The second part will drop next week. But then after Smallville, it's Arrow. That's why I'm rewatching Arrow. And man, season 3 and 4 are so painful to watch. But I know season 5 will be good. So I'm like, I'm almost there. Almost done with season 4.
Oh, that was me with this one show. I forgot what it was. It was fucking alright, Under the Dome. Jesus, fuck that shit show.
Man, I've seen season 1 of Under the Dome. I liked it.
Yeah, season 1 was, okay, listen, Under the Dome, season 1 was not terrible. It was below average, but it wasn't terrible. It was watchable TV. I enjoyed parts of it. I enjoyed characters. Yeah, it definitely was from, like, a good adaptation of it, like of the original source material, and like with, I believe, Stephen King or something.
Yeah.
I liked all the actors, but Jesus, after that they just continued it on for 2 more seasons for no reason, and even though they literally did everything like from the original source material, and then they just fucking holy shit, and then it like got canceled, so then they had to rush the ending with season 3, and which it the thing is the thing with that show whole I don't know if you watched anything after season 1. Jesus fuck, that is like one of the worst written shows I've ever seen. That the writing in it single-handedly ruined the whole show,
I
and made it just unbearable.
Is it season 2 that the city got separated from the world?
uh
The dome floating somewhere?
the dome floating somewhere, I believe that's like season 3.
Okay, so I've seen until season 3, but I kind of forgot season 2 and 3. I only remember season
Yeah,
1.
it is one of the worst written shows ever. It ruined it's just like how every single aspect of almost every single aspect of Alien Covenant was great cast, great production design, great directing, great everything, and they had like an hour of fucking backstory and origin for the characters that for some reason they didn't put in the fucking theatrical cut or any cut of it. They just had it as behind the scenes clips for some reason. All right, but yeah, they had all that great stuff, but it was fucking ruined because it's like the screenwriters for Alien Covenant. It's like they stabbed a fucking fork in their brain and then just started writing from like muscle reflex while they were slowly dying, while their brain was like just rotting away. Jesus Christ. And that's Under the Dome, and Sean O'Rourke, the guy MSK has that on. You know, do you remember him?
Yeah,
Guy in
yeah.
the
Nice
industry.
guy.
Yeah, I don't know if you were on that stream, but Sean O'Rourke, you know, he one of the things he did work on was Under the Dome, and the one actor in it. Do you know him? Like the bald guy, he was in like Breaking Bad and stuff,
Yeah.
I believe, or other stuff. Yeah, he literally like at one point was like yelling and throwing papers and at the screenwriter saying, "This is the worst written shit I have ever been on in my life." Said my 5-year-old son could fucking write something better in this, and then the screenwriters were like, "Okay, then make him do it." And he's like, "I'll have him in the room in 20 minutes. Meet you there."
I think I was there. I remember that line, man.
Oh yeah. Holy fuck, but yeah, it's true though. What a fucking abysmal fucking screenplay that was.
Have you seen
Jesus.
Walking Dead? Someone recommend me Walking Dead, but that someone has suspicious
Oh yeah.
taste.
Oh yeah, The Walking Dead season 1 was fucking great, you know, cuz they actually put effort and cost into it, and it was made by people who actually done quality stuff, like the guy who did the Shawshank Redemption and the Green Mile and Mist. And great cast and everything. Then but AMC, since they're one of the worst companies alive, which with Perfect World, they were like they downgraded the cost of all the people's salary. The director's salary, took away creative freedom, and was like, okay, we don't need any more like special effects or like them traveling to any places. Just stay at this farm, have like one zombie per episode, like people with barely any makeup in the background and etc. Just have it like a shitty ass, horribly written drama. Because we're greedy, we're AMC, and after the success of the first season, people won't even notice the difference, and sadly they didn't for fucking like eight seasons straight of that shit, until it finally fucking died off, that show. But the director was honestly like, I'll try to make it work because I got all my friends involved. All my friends, the actors like Steven Yeun, everybody, the person who plays like Carol and stuff, like they all worked on my previous stuff like The Mist. They're all my friends. They all, even despite all this shit they're like, yeah, let's do this. So it's like I can't leave them, so fine, I'll make this work. And 3 days later, they fire him and bring him in some fucking hack director. What? And it's like, yep, thanks, bye. And yep, season 2 was fucking trash. Oh, listen.
Already
Season 2 was
trash?
just.
Season 2 is
Oh, no,
already
not.
trash.
Yeah, well, it was just trash looking back on it, but outside of some good moments. And in season 3, season 4, uh, and some of season 5 are abysmal, but they weren't complete trash. They were like watchable enough, and you know, and then, but then from there it goes completely downhill from just again outside of like some odd good moments where they actually somewhat tried. Holy fuck! And then it's just it's just an unrecognizable show now. What the fuck have they done? Like these like 20 seasons in, this is just laughable at this point. And then they're gonna, yet they, have that movie plan where they bring Rick back, with Negan, have that showdown with them or some like other villain guy, and then have some fucking spin off with imagine having a spin off with fucking what's her name again? Uh, Maggie and Negan. Imagine having a spin off with them together. After
Oh!
that, I want to puke. Who came up with that idea?
Have you seen Dexter?
I heard good things about it, but that and like Heist or whatever it's called, uh, Money Heist or something. I just haven't had the time to watch it. And
Eventually,
those,
go to Dexter. It's kind of cool. It's like later
they
season
say
turned kind of bad, but we got like 5 solid season. I think season 6 is really trash, but
okay. You see, I believe that, right? I do, but it's just like, again, I already said like when it comes to like shows, there's like 2,000 of them where I've like started and then like held off and never finished. But also, when it comes to like shows like that on Netflix, like yeah, stuff like Dexter is probably good. The thing is like there's like fucking hundreds of them that look the exact same.
nothing
So
is
it's
like
just
Dexter. I don't think there's something like that
oh no,
because
that just like that looks like it on it with like by its this on like its cup like judging a book by its cover, like it looks the same in that regards, and it to like hundreds of others, so it just have always thrown me off, and that's why I never ended up ever watching it, even though people say it's good. And
yeah.
and then also I took recommendations from those same people who say stuff like like Prison Break were amazing. And I mean, it was amazing for like, well, not amazing, but it was good for like the first season. And then after that, holy fuck, it just went downhill.
They also did like a season 9 return reboot or something. I haven't seen it because I've heard bad stuff about it, but
Of what show?
Dexter.
Oh, fuck.
But they as I said, they did 5 really strong seasons. Then season 6 fell off a cliff for me. Season 7 had some good ideas, I guess, but it wasn't really good as a whole. Season 8, oh my, season 8. Man, but you still got like 5 good seasons. So if you like watch 5 seasons, you're fine. You don't need to watch anymore.
Yeah.
But it's basically a police drama, but the guy is a serial killer.
Jesus.
It's
Yeah,
kind of cool.
I mean, I know, I heard that as its, yeah, I know that. I mean, it sounds cool, it does.
And it's really
Yeah,
dark. It's really dark, and it has good themes. And I think it's based on novel as well. And just because I like the series a lot, I think I will give a shot to the novel if I can find the novels. I'm really curious because I'm into reading a lot. I read a lot of like sci-fi stuff and like horror stuff. I like to read horror things actually. Like one of my favorite writers is it's basically a French Quebecer like me. It's called Patrick Sénécal, and he is like the king of subvert your expectation. He is so good at writing like amazing stories with like normal people with normal flaws, but having these great stories with these normal people, and there's so much like subvert expectation. In one of his books, without spoiler because there's no context and no title of the book, the character is basically trying to prove that character is different and that character belong where he or she is, but at the end he or she realize he or she is not different and he and she doesn't belong there. So it took like the entire journey for that person to realize, get out of here. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
I'm just trying to.
it's
When
the
it
kind
comes
of
to
writing.
Dexter, though, it's just when it comes to Dexter for me. Another thing is I've seen so much disturbing. Like I've seen probably every disturbing film in history, and not just films that just intentionally try to be disturbing. And that's even I did see those ones, but just ones that do play on that aspect and just do it insanely well. Like Lars von Trier films, for just one example. So I just, when it comes to then like a Netflix show with like that premise, I just don't know if it's actually gonna like live up to expectations or even on like the level of like stuff we've seen in The Boys.
Yeah, I agree. The Boys is really season one at least was a masterpiece. I'm really excited to see two, and maybe I will actually watch back to back 2 and 3. If two is as good as one, I will watch back to back 2 and 3. But if it's not as good, I will still watch 2 and 3, but maybe not back to back. Maybe I will keep the other one for the other week.
Yeah, well, again, season 3 I would say is probably the best one.
I cannot wait to see more, man. Kind of excited about that. So we will discuss about next week on the
Yeah.
chat later on. So
Yeah,
is there
well, I am going to see that movie. I linked the one I linked in the trailer for in DMs. I am going to see that
perfect?
tomorrow.
It's
So
on
I mean,
theater, right?
uh, sorry, what's it? Yeah, it's in theaters. So I
Okay,
mean, again, sci-fi, UFOs. If you're into that stuff, then definitely check it out. And it'll probably at least be good. Although I heard from people that like early reviews, it's insanely good. Problem is that they try to juggle too many like topics, and they don't catch with like all of them. But insanely like interesting though, premised and super well made, technically and like filmmaking wise, and with the acting. So, and that matters the most to me. So yeah, yeah, but either way, I'll let you know like just what I thought about it like on the next stream, whether you see
perfect.
it yourself, whether you see it yourself or
Yeah, I
not.
think I
Whenever.
think I will take a look. Actually, I will see if I can find it. And yeah, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not really. That's about it.
Thank,
Yeah.
thanks
Oh,
you.
actually, there was
Oh yeah,
one thing though. Did you hear the announcement? The Gen V series or spinoff they're doing.
Gen V.
Yeah, the boys creators are now doing a spin-off series, Gen V. So you didn't hear about that? Uh,
No, I didn't. What's up with
oh, I mean,
that?
basically, I forgot like the exact like what it's gonna be about, but I'll try to like see producers. See if there's like a description. Yeah, the lives of yeah, yeah. I mean, you can like it's pretty much sort of like a. By the sounds of it, it's sort of like the like a Stargirl combined with it. Honestly, with like the characters and like being younger and stuff, and like college or something
So I'm guessing they
with
won't
like
be as dark.
superpowers. Oh, they might be. I mean, if you read the premise for it, like I'll send the IMDb thing, and you can like read just the premise they have on there. But it sounds dark, and they made like a video with like the actors, introducing themselves, and they said it that they're not going to slow down on it. So we'll see if that's true.
We will see.
But I'm yeah. But I mean, the actors are pretty new to the scene though, so I don't know if they're gonna do a great job. But I mean, that's usually the case though with old shows, and was with like Stargirl when you know cast younger actors. So I mean,
Yeah. I think Stargirl are not that bad. They are better than Amber Heard.
well, listen, the bar there is fucking not. There's actually no bar.
It's
It's
still
just
there, bruh. She got jobs, man. Even if
it's
she got jobs because
disintegrated.
she's pretty, she still got jobs.
The bar incinerated into ash. All right, there's no bar when it comes to being better than her. You know, the thing that I just hate most about that is fucking. I believe it was Tobe Hooper's. If I remember correctly, there was like a director, like I believe it was Toby Hooper who did the Texas Chainsaw and Poltergeist and you know other films. I believe she was the last lead in his last film he ever did, and that just pisses me off. I don't know if it was Toby Hooper or I don't know exactly who it was. All like it was some like horror legend, where that was the case with some horror legend. But yeah, that just like pissed me off so much. Like, Jesus fuck.
I feel
I'll
you,
actually
man.
look. Yeah, I'll actually look up on her filmography, which it was. It was called The Ward. Who was it? It was. Oh, it was John Carpenter. Fuck me.
Anyway, thank
Uh,
you again for coming, man. Any final thoughts?
nope, that's about it.
I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. So next week, if Cole is done with Stargirl, we will cover season 2, and of course we will cover The Boys season 2, and we will speak about TV shows again and movies. So I hope everyone enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see each other in future video. And